The Masterverse leaks are a-flowing with rumors of a new wave of potential Amazon exclusives. And before we dive into the news, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to the channel so you can be alerted to the latest news, reviews, and episodes when they drop. Hey everyone, welcome back to Toy Habits News. I'm Michael, and with me is my collector in crime, Larry. Now, the dynamic duo Canal dos Rosmaneros just reported on their live stream that the following list of Masterverse figures, 4 of them which are leaks, are not only coming to the line, but will be Amazon exclusives.
Yeah, we're apparently we're gonna see a lot of Amazon stuff in the near future for Motu, huh? I don't know. I still can't decide what I think about it. I think if distribution is better and it's easier to order, then I'm all for it. But if it makes it harder for people to get a hold of them, then that kind of sucks.
Yeah, I
So,
mean, if it's like the way that Masterverse Jitsu is on Amazon, like
yep.
he's still up for pre-order, so hopefully that's a good sign of just like, maybe they've made a ton of these figures and they'll just leave them up for pre-order for a long time.
Yeah, and I think if that's the case, the only thing that I don't like about it is we don't know. It's not like they say there's going to be a 3-month pre-order window. This is the release date. Make
Yeah,
sure you get your order in before that. It's just kind of left open-ended because
that's
then
true.
you're kind of like, well, there's no urgency, and then if he disappears, then you're like, oh, that
Uh-oh.
sucks. I should have ordered.
Yep, that's
So.
true. All right, so let's take this one from the top. And Canal dos Rosmaneros is reporting that Mer-Man will be in his classic look, and he did appear in his classic armor in the Revelation series during a flashback, and we had some fun and just threw a classics Mer-Man armor on the Revelation Mer-Man. Could be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're hoping for an all new figure, right?
Yeah,
Because that one's he doesn't look like Merman.
no.
He needs everything. All of his everything needs to be changed. The whole thing, the buck, the head, just the armor, all of it.
Yes. Yeah, and
Sickle,
I have a
top,
theory
sword,
on
everything.
this. Uh, I think this will be another new Eternia style figure. And if you actually look at all the past new Eternia figures, they actually mirror the first 8 figures that Mattel produced in the vintage line.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting. I think this is going to be a lot like the new Eternia Beastman, where you've got maybe kind of two different looks for the character. Maybe you've got kind of an updated. They've already done kind of the Revelation style, so I don't know what else they might come up with, but I think it'll be cool. And then if you get the more standard option for displaying Merman as well, that's a pretty cool way to go. And I like the idea of it being those original 8 figures getting this kind of treatment first. But I could also see him expanding it beyond that. Like I think people have kind of shown support for these style figures, so I think that it might hopefully continue beyond this.
Yeah, I hope so too. And next up is Pighead, who was revealed at San Diego Comic-Con 2022. So no surprise here, but one of my favorite figures, I think, in the Masterverse style.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just kind of indifferent on the Origins Pighead, but this Masterverse one looks really great. I just think that the colors and just kind of the overall style of the figure just somehow pop out a lot more in kind of the Masterverse scale and level of detail and things like that. So
Yeah, I love his armor and just that gelatinous thing that's around his neck. I mean, actually, it looks, now that I take a look at it, it looks like a gelatinous snake.
yeah.
Yeah, looks really cool. And next up is Buzz Off, and he appeared in a split second on screen in Revelation Part 2. So, it'll be interesting to see what they do with him in Masterverse style.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, I don't know that his Revelation style is that much different than kind of the standard Buzz Off look.
Yeah,
So I almost hate for us not to get like a standard release for Buzz Off. If they go Revelation, then how you're gonna make it enough different than kind of the vintage look to warrant making 2 different figures? So it's a little rough there.
yeah. And maybe it's kind of like how they treat Spikor and Stinkor from the Revelation line. I mean, they were from the cartoon series, but they actually just look like their vintage counterpart or their classics counterpart. So
Yeah,
maybe,
that's true.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
Buzz Off will be the same. And actually, it'd be interesting because I think Sunman is the first one to come out with those translucent wings. And so it'd be interesting to see, like, are they doing that again and kind of what that would look like in Masterverse.
Yeah, that'll be cool. I think there's a lot of different choices they can make there. So be nice to see what they come up with.
Yes. And next up is Prince Adam, and it's actually great to see him finally rumored to come to the line as at least for the Revelation series. I actually thought this would be the first figure that would come out since he was actually in the thing the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, he feels like he needs to get a figure release. I think it'll be cool to see if they do kind of a whole different buck for this one. I think it's probably necessary because he is a smaller stature character, so I think he kind of deserves to be made with a different look. But we'll see what they choose to do. To me, it's also possible that this is just a standard Prince Adam and not going with a Revelation
Yeah.
look too. I mean, it just kind of to me, we have to wait and see what they kind of what gets announced, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting because they're seeming to not be producing the Revelation series figures as much anymore. And so it'd be interesting with the Revolution series pending. I don't know what the date is on that one, but if they start actually mixing in more Revelation and now Revolution figures.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the thing that makes me wonder, is this going to be just kind of a vintage style Prince Adam, or is it going to be Revelation? Is it going to
Yeah.
be Revolution? So yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of questions on these releases. So
Yes. And the last figure on the list is definitely a head scratcher, but it makes sense given Skeletor's demise at the end of the Revelation Part 1 or Part 2 series. Or was it Part 1 or Part 2?
part one, part two.
Yes. And it's Horde Skeletor, and who knows what this one is going to look like.
Yeah, this one to me, I really don't know what to expect. We've got a couple of we got a custom here that looks pretty cool. I think there's some interesting things they could do. Um, I think just about anything they come up with Skeletor is usually pretty cool, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, the worst thing to do would just be to put a Skeletor head on the Hordak Deluxe Masterverse buck. That would suck.
Yeah, that would not be good. I don't think people want that. But hopefully they come up with a cool design that's got Skeletor with some cool horde elements, and we'll take it from there.
Yeah, it's interesting too because I pulled this caricature off of the Battle Ram blog, and this was actually a concept for Grizzlor, if you can believe it. So just looking at the history there, it's funny they chose to put a Skeletor head on him and just make him look like Skeletor, which is very interesting. And so if it actually came to the Origins line, might be what it looks like.
Yeah, and with the way they're kind of releasing things, maybe it's not a surprise if we saw it for the Origins line as well.
Yeah.
So
All right. So let us know what you think of the potential Masterverse figures in this list in the comments below. Do you have a favorite? I'm Michael,
and I'm Larry.
and thanks for tuning into this Toy Habits News Brief.